Now, we all know how important it is to make a space for nature in our towns and cities. Well, a group of Sheffield bird lovers are calling on the council to make it compulsory to incorporate a special kind of brick in all new buildings. They're called swift bricks, and they are uniquely designed to give migrating swifts a place to nest and breed. Chet, Cuñago and Ellis from the Swift Network are in the studio, which is very lovely, and they can tell us more about it. Chet, let's start with the Sheffield Swift Network. How long has that been going?
Well, it's an umbrella group of all the Swift groups throughout Sheffield. So there are various little Swift groups dotted around the city. We've got S17 Swifts, we've got Sheffield 11, S6, Walkley. We've all got separate groups. And we all came together because we thought we'd work better as a unified group. So it's a sort of umbrella group of all that. And we've been going about a year.
And you must obviously love birds in general, but what about swifts made you think, right, we need to come together and do something?
They're a unique bird. They're an amazing bird. They're like nothing else on earth. In fact, they haven't got any relatives. Their nearest relative is a hummingbird. But for us, the biggest worry is that they're facing extinction in the next 30 years if we don't do something about.
Anne, so tell us about these bricks then. What do they look like? Are they, I mean, would you be able to see a difference if I was looking at a building? Would I be able to go, there's the swift brick?
Well, you might if you knew what to look for. Okay. Basically they look like a brick, and the front of the swift brick would be the same colour as the building because they manufacture them in all sorts of different colours to match different bricks. So basically the same size, same shape as a brick. They will have a subtle little opening in a couple of inches wide in the centre of the brick for the swift to get in, and then at the back of the brick, because it's just like a frontage, it's a box. So the swift can go into the brick and nest in the box. So from the outside, it just looks really like a brick. It's more subtle than an air brick.
Wow, so it's like a little sort of cave in a way.
Yes, it's a little nest box, behind the wall.
And would you just need one in a building? Would that be sufficient? Or ideally, would you have several?
Several, ideally, because they're colony breeders. They like to live with other birds. Most birds like to live on their own. They like their own isolated little nest box, away from competition. But swifts are very different. They like to live with other swifts for safety in numbers. So, they like to live together. So the more the merrier, really.
And Chet, you mentioned that they're in decline because, I mean, people, even if you are not a twitcher, people love to see them arrive from Africa in spring. They have been struggling. Why?
Because of us. They've lived alongside us since time, really. They've been on Earth for 70 million years, so they were flying when dinosaurs were around, and their numbers are just plummeting since we started modernising our buildings. The biggest culprit is soffits, plastic soffits blocking in the eaves to the where they nest, the rafters. They nest in the rafters in the eaves of our homes. And as we've been modernising our buildings, we've been making them airtight, watertight, making them nice and warm. We're blocking off access to their nests, and that's it.
You know what?
That's all it is.
I'm being taken back to my childhood in my nan's 60s house, where next to the room that I was used to sleep in, my bedroom, the swifts, there was a little, just where the roof came down. That is where they used to nest, and it was so lovely.
Yes.
Well, they've been living alongside us for centuries, and if left to their own devices, they'd live in the same place. This is the one thing about swifts. This is why we're so worried about them. They're site faithful, so they go back to the same nest site all their lives. They won't move. If you block that site, that's it. It's game over for them. They can't live anywhere else.
Okay, but then hang on a minute. So if for example, if I'm a house builder and I go, right, I'm going to. This sounds great. I want to put some swift boxes in my swift bricks in my houses. How are we going to attract them? How will the swifts know, Anne, to go to this new house? And they're not going to be looking on, I don't know, Zoopla or Rightmove and go, there's a swift brick I can move into.
No. Well, I mean, new swifts. One of the other interesting facts about swift is when a baby swift fledges, it doesn't touch land again for 3 years.
Wow.
They don't ever land, swifts. They apart from when they nest, they eat, sleep, mate, drink, all on the wing. And so the young swifts will fly back to sub-Saharan Africa with the adults, and they'll come back every year. So for those first 2 years, they're prospecting. They're looking around for new nests.
Right.
And what if you really want to attract them, and what some of us have done is we've bought the little swift callers that you can plug in and have at the top of your house that give out the same sound as a swift makes, and that will attract them because they do fly very high up in the sky. You might see them on a summer evening, group of swifts, you might first be attracted by hearing the little screams up in the sky, and so by playing the swift sound, they will come down and check. But obviously you don't have to have those. That's what we've been using at the moment to try and attract them. But they will find, if you've put the right house there for them, they will find it. It may be in 5 years' time, but it'll be there for a long, long time, which is why we're advocating for swift bricks rather than just wooden boxes, because boxes can get taken down or they can rot, and they're a good immediate help, but really for longevity, the swift wants to be coming back to the same nest, and we'd like it to be there for as long as the building is there.
Okay, so you've got a petition. What's the response been to the petition, the campaign?
Okay, well, we a group of us from the Sheffield Swift Network, we attended one of the committee meetings on Thursday with the council. It was actually, they were very welcoming to us. It felt quite positive. We felt listened to. They were interested. The response fell short of what we were asking for, which was to make it compulsory in the planning regulations to have swift bricks in all 2-storey and above houses or buildings, new builds. But what we did discuss was the council is just preparing its local plan, which it has to have for the whole of the city, and that's a big statutory document. We were hoping that we could have swift bricks in the plan, but what they've agreed to do is, under their section about biodiversity gain, which is basically how we can improve natural habitats for all sorts of animals and birds. They were going to add swift bricks as an example of what builders can do, because from next year, from August I think it is next year, builders are going to have to show when they put in for planning permission how they're going to improve spaces for nature.
Okay, so it might not be compulsory, but it might be a quick win for a builder.
It's absolutely,
yeah.
I can get the planning guys off my back if I just put this swift brick in.
Sort of.
Sort of, yeah. I mean, what we don't want is builders coming in and ripping up all the hedgerows, or taking away natural habitat and then thinking, we'll just put swift brick and that's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Because actually all the birds like swift bricks as well. Sparrows, which are also on the red list for conservation concern, like swifts. We might not realise it because we see sparrows around being very chirpy. But sparrows are also declining. They too like swift bricks. So you might get sparrows in your swift bricks.
And that's fine.
Well, that's great.
Yeah, it's a win-win.
That's fine.
Absolutely.
It's a win-win.
If people are listening to this thinking, well, I'm not planning on building any houses anytime soon, but I've got a house that I live in, what can we do, sort of regular Joes, to make our houses more attractive to birds like swifts? Okay.
Well, last year I had a wooden box put up on my house. But what I'm actually thinking of, having learnt much more about it and understanding the issue about longevity, I'm thinking of having some swift bricks retrofitted at the side of my house. And also where I've got the box soffits, I'm going to look at having some little entrances made so that they can go into the boxes and nest if they like. Sparrows would do that too.
Thank you so much for coming in. Is there anything that people can do? Because you've got this petition. Is there somewhere we can direct them to if they're interested?
They come to us at the SheffieldSwiftNetwork.org. So we've got a website. We're on Twitter, Facebook, Sheffield Swift Network. Get in touch with us.
Lovely.
We'll put you in the right direction.